spend time and sleep on different friends' couches for months. And then one day that I really want to go on a conference because people told me that you can meet a lot more people in a conference, which will be a lot more effective. But all conference tickets are very expensive.
Yeah.
I decided to call a magazine company back in Taiwan. I said, this is amazing conference in New York. Do you want someone to cover the story for free? They said,
I have with me today Anya Cheng is the founder and CEO of Taelor, an AI-powered men's clothing subscription service promoting sustainable fashion. A Silicon Valley entrepreneur, she has been recognized among girls in tech 40 under 40 for her expertise in tech product management and marketing. Anya played a pivotal role in launching Facebook and Instagram shopping at Meta, led new business expansion at eBay, and helped grow McDonald's global food delivery. She's also shaped Target's mobile commerce and has led teams in AI, e-commerce, product management, and marketing across Fortune 500 companies. Anya's award-winning venture, Taelor AI, was named one of the Bay's area's most innovative startups to watch by Business Journal and is backed by early investors in NVIDIA, TikTok, Facebook, Lyft, and Spotify. Anya's work has earned her 30-plus prestigious tech and marketing awards, a best-selling author, and two-time TEDx speaker. She teaches at Northwestern University as a popular keynote speaker worldwide. She holds a master's in integrated marketing communications from Northwestern University and an MBA from the University of Chicago Booth School of Business. There are 3 exclusive gifts in this episode of The Manager's Mic that she has graciously offered. Gift number 1 is get 25% off your first months of men clothing subscription by using the code podcast25. You can sign up at taelor.style. Gift 2 is more, and this is actually really cool. You get 50% off your first month of women's clothing subscription using the code AmoreXTaelor, and that's spelled ARMOIREXTAELOR. And then gift 3 is you can get 10% off gift cards using the code podcastgift. You want to leverage these gifts to give yourself the most important gift back, which is your time, convenience, and having effortless style. I encourage you to definitely visit those websites. Anya, this is a real honor for me to welcome you to the Manager's Mic. I'm really looking forward to our conversation today.
Thanks, Paul. This is amazing introductions. I feel like I'm ready to go home. Like, hey, you guys got a gift. Bye. This is an AI startup, but we serve US nationwide. We use AI to pick clothes for busy men. Imagine in the old time, only celebrity has human stylists. But now with AI, everyone can have your human stylist at your fingertip with AI. AI will pick clothes for you, and we send you real clothes for you to wear for a couple weeks. Once you are done, return the dirty clothes and get the new ones. No more shopping or laundry. I'm excited to share a little bit more about my experience as being a manager throughout the last 15 years in big tech company, at startups, and then in the industry of technology, retail, and traditional companies. Excited to share more.
Thank you for being very transparent. I've done a lot of research, watched your TEDx speeches. They're very impressive. I always like to, when I start a podcast, is reverse engineer your story a little, if that's fair. Because I'm so impressed with your website, I feel like I haven't had somebody of your level of success in the clothing space, because I think it's a tough business to thrive in, and you've been very successful at that. What was a moment or moments that you can kind of reverse engineer for me where you said, you know, Anya, maybe you're talking to yourself from a high level view. I really want to take the challenge away from decision fatigue out of fashion and looking good. Maybe we could speak to those moments or some key things that happen for you to say, this is a journey I want to go on.
In fact, it's actually highly relevant to my journey as a manager. As you guys can tell or not, you are listening. I'm a woman with color. I'm an immigrant from Taiwan, woman with color, minorities. Throughout my career, being in tech company, as someone with marketing background, I actually always feel that I have the imposter syndrome. Am I ready to be a manager? Can someone listen to me? I'm leading a 65 people team. I'm leading $42 million budgets in addition to the salaries. Am I really ready? Will people find me fake? I feel like imposter syndrome throughout my journey. And there was a moment when I was at Meta and eBay, I felt like I want to look good. So then people won't find out that I'm freaking out every day. So I use some subscription boxes like Stitch Fix, Daily, and traditionally they were company like Trunk Club. But all of those require you to buy. They do style you, you get the clothes, but the moment you receive it, you have to decide. Am I going to wear these clothes many times? Can I find somewhere cheaper? How do I pair with this? How do I do the laundry? Can it be dry? How do I do the ironings afterwards and management of that folding the clothes? I feel like I don't want to own that much stuff because once you own, you have to decide you're going to buy and then you have to do the laundry and folding. So then I start renting. I use company like Newly or more Rent the Runway, women's rental companies, a lot of them. They are amazing company. You don't have to buy. You rent the clothes like your Uber. You get on the car, you get over the car. You don't own the car anymore, but you always have your car ready. Like your Netflix show. You open the TVs and you watch a Netflix show for 5 minutes. If you don't like it, who cares? Move on to the next show. The same thing for
Yeah.
rental. You get the clothes, you wear for a few weeks. If you like it, great. If you don't, return it. I love it, but I also hate it because there are like 10,000 garments. Swap, 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 browse, 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 pick, pick, pick. I hate it. I
Yeah.
am not someone who are into fashion. I am just a manager. I just want to look ready and presentable and ready to lead my team. And it was a
Mm,
aha moment that hit me that there's no options out there are actually for managers. We just
mm,
want to be ready for the day, and I don't want to read GQ or Vogue. That's why Taylor was born. I start doing research. Who think like me? Hate shopping, hate laundry, but need to look good, but not into fashion. Turn out that most of them are men, busy men,
mm.
managers, sales guy, executive, recruiters, pastor, professors, accountants, consultants. You are busy every day. You want to look presentable. You actually are worried. You worry if people feel like you are control free. You are worried people feel like you are too loose. You are not really managing. You are worried that if people perform better than you and you get be replaced. You are worried that people are not performing so that you get replaced. I realized that turned out that I just want to be the helper for someone who are busy but want to look great so then they can focus on what they do best, which is leadership. And that's why Taylor was born. We AI style the customer, we send people real clothes, and then they wear that. If they want to buy it, great. If not, they wear it for a couple weeks. They return the clothes with prepaid envelope, drop it to any post office on the street, open the USPS app, one click, they pick up for free. Then in a few days, you get the new shipments again. No more shopping on laundry.
It's really impressive to me that you found this niche. And I think when I look at your business from like an 80,000 foot view and I try to kind of come down from that view, I think about all the layers you had to figure out and the mental toughness. I feel mental toughness is a key word here. And watching your TEDx speak, really being how you're very humbling, you're very inviting to talk to. When you were struggling with imposter syndrome, since you had mentioned it, was there any like quotes or frameworks or something you have on loop? You're walking on that treadmill in the same place that you had to keep referencing to say like this is how I get imposter syndrome under control. Maybe if we want to peel that onion and if you're comfortable peeling that onion with me.
I think so. First thing is that usually before you have the voice in your head say you are not worth it, you are not good enough. Usually it starts with a really small voice. You are not good. You are not good. But then if you don't shut it down, you're not good. You're not good. The trick is that to shut it down the voice in your head before it become too loud. But I also think that throughout my career, there are a few things that's really important for me as a manager. Of course, manager means two things, mean the manager down, but also manager up. So we start
Mm,
with manager up. I think that when I start my career, I tend to think that I want to be on the executive table. People got to trust me and really value my team. Unfortunately, I start my career as a marketer. People see me as a marketing girl. We don't need marketing girl until everything figuring out and we just need more people to shop. Hey, marketing girl, now it's your turn. No, I
yeah.
want to be on the executive table. Call me before it's the last minutes. Then I would tend to go to the meeting and then I promote like marketing, marketing, marketing. That was the opposite, useless because When you only think you are a department heads, then you never get sit on the executive table. People don't
Mm,
call the marketing table to the executive table. People also don't call the engineering person to the executive table. People don't call anyone to the executive table except problem solvers. Because
mm,
usually the big problems are not well defined. When it already become an
mm.
engineering problem or marketing problems or finance problem, that usually is small problem. Usually start with a big problem. It's like, hey, we just don't have enough customer. But the customer is not just marketing problem. It could be a pricing problem. It could be a customer
Yeah.
service problem. It could be a product problem which you need engineering. Usually start with a problem that is not well defined, that no one knows what's a solution. And there's a
Hmm.
moment where executive come in and solve the problem. I realized the way to be a great manager is to forget who you are. Forget that you are a marketer. Forget you are a finance person. Forget that you are engineering. Forget that you are a supply chain person. You're just going to the meeting, trying to figure out what's a problem for the company, what's a problem for your customers, your clients, and solve the problem. But don't worry, because you are expert in your own field. Finance, engineering, accounting, supply chain operations. Therefore, the solution that you came out will tend to be relevant to your team. We don't have enough customer. No worry. How about that we can do promotions? How about we probably attract wrong customers? We should do marketing research because you are expert in your field. You tend to come up with the solutions that's actually relevant to your field so that you eventually still support your team and make your team more visible and important. But
Yeah.
people don't call you because you are certain teams departments head because they don't know if that's relevant to your team yet. People call you to be on executive table because they want problem solver to come in to solve problem. Let's manage up. And now talk about manage down because we are managers, people leaders. When I was younger as a leader, I tend to want to be buddy buddy with the team. Like, if I really close to them, they will like me and I'm so afraid they don't like me. You know what? People like you or not is less important. People want to be making impact for the company and people want to work for a company that's successful. It's extremely difficult to be a leader of a failing team. If the company is making a lot of money, everybody is happy with their manager. If a
Right.
company is losing money and company are laying off people, then everybody hates their manager, no matter how close you are with them. End of day, the only way fundamentally is your team to win. Nothing else matters. They can like you as a person, but if you are in a losing team, believe it or not, if you look at LeBron, if he continue to be in a losing team, one day he will jump the ship. He will go into another championship team. You cannot retain people or make people like you if they are just in a failing ship. End of day, it's your job to figure out how to solve the problem. It's your job to figure out how to use your team to make them to be solving the problem because end of the day, that's the only thing that you can keep them. But you are not just leading an all-star team. You probably watch an NBA show. All-star game sucks. Everybody is all-star, but they sucks because they don't play like a team. While the
Yeah.
champion team, not everyone is all-star, but the championship team is worth watching. You have someone assist, someone score, have 3 pointers, someone defense. It's a team. But you as a leader, your job is building the puzzle. Hey, I have someone really good with numbers. Let's have someone who is more creative. I have someone really risk taking. Make sure we have someone that is more risk averse and holding everyone in and look at the numbers. I have someone who
Yeah.
is very upbeat, rah, 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 go, 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 everyone. And make sure someone with a team that's calm and cool. So then it's not the whole team is running around like chicken cut off heads. It's your job to figure out, okay, that's a problem we are solving. What kind of skill set we need and how do we assembling the team to help them to help each other so that your team can win. And end of the day, these are the two things I think the most important as a manager.
I think it's impressive, and there's a lot of wisdom in what you said that they bring the problem solver to the table. I know you're speaking from true validity in that statement because on the surface layer, one of the things I will admit to you, I struggle with wanting people to like me. I think that's something I personally struggle with. That's just something I have. You've managed to be very successful at Meta, eBay, McDonald's, and Target. These are not easy companies, I feel, to earn rapport, build trust with like you have, and really achieve those results. If you were to wave a magic wand, is there anything that you, and maybe not mistake is the right word, if you were to say eliminate these things so you can be a better problem solver, is there any insight you have around that question?
There are a few mistakes that people tend to make. Number one, so as a new hire, we tend to come in and then poo-poo people. Your website sucks. And when I come to an interview, your website sucks. And here and there, and you need to improve. And this is doing great during the interview. I think
Yeah.
you do this, you can do great. Unfortunately, once you are on board, those people who you call sucks are your colleagues. So you
Yeah.
piss off a whole bunch of people already, then who want to help you? And usually those things sucks for reasons. So it's legacy technology. We have very little budgets. Our user research person is on vacation and on the leave for 6 months. And we don't have the money because these things and that. Those problems that you call sucks become your problem.
Hmm.
And when you want to solve the problem, in big company or small company, most likely not you as a person individually can solve the problem. You need a team. Now you turn around, it's like, okay, engineers, researchers, designer, please help me. Nobody help you because you just called them sucks weeks ago. So I think that it's the number one. Don't create enemy once you start, and don't poo-poo
Hmm.
people's work when you started. And appreciate what has been done, and then go from there. And the other thing is that I think it's important that you change management start small. When I was working for McDonald's, they did hire someone from very high up in the company, and they joined the team and leading the whole initiative. At that
Hmm.
time, McDonald don't even have Google Analytics. And the
Interesting.
leader we hired was someone very, very cutting edge. And all day long, 10 years ago, he or she, I'm not calling out the person, but he or she
Fine.
was talking about flying drone. Let's deliver food with flying drone. Let's deliver food with self-autonomous, self-driving cars. Unfortunately, after 3 years, the person left the company because change has to start small. The big ideas were never being realized because change management is all about changing small, because changing a little bit every single day, you won't even notice. But changing a lot means a lot for a lot of people. And it could be hard for some people to be accept the new changes. I
Yeah.
also think that it's important to know that everyone being motivated differently. And for example, I have team member who want to be a product manager one day, but right now they are a data scientist person. So you can assign things for them that's more relevant to product managers. So one day potentially they can transition. We have people who really value family time. So the person really appreciated being working from home from time to time. So then they can take care of the pets and kids. We also have people who really care about some traveling experience. People are young and want to travel around and meet new people and eat good foods and feel always good to be away from home. While we have some people who have kids at home and really hate traveling. Figure out people's preference is important. Figure out people's communication style is important. Not everyone communicate the same thing. For example, some people like to be informed right away. Some people like to be have something in writing very clearly. Some people don't like to decide right away. Like my co-founder right now, she's an amazing person, but we think very differently. When we have a problems, my way of doing research is I go around and asking people. Her way
Hmm.
of doing research is Googling and find out information from the internet. So I remember when we started, she felt like, why waste time to talk to so many people? And I feel like, why do you send me this random article from the internet that we don't even know if it's relevant? But over time, we realized that great, then you do your research your way and I do my search my way. I will go on interviewing people and then I write down the summary. Since you like to read, now you read my summary. And then how about after you're reading all of those articles, you tell me the summary that you have so then we can compare notes. But I would say that instead of trying to find out over time, just ask. I prefer blah, blah, blah. Or some people you ask them like, what's your pipette? What's one thing that you really hate? Hey, I really hate you to come into my desk and ask me things. Book a time with me. I don't like to be disrupted. Or
Yeah.
some people say like, I really like you come by to talk to me right away. Don't waste my calendar for half an hour for these one questions. Right? Just
Yeah.
ask. Most of people want to work with you well. Just ask them from the beginning, the first day you work with them, like, hey, can we just talk about how we work? What's your style? Tell me your style. What people say about your style? And I want to know about that. And to your boss, to your team, to your colleagues.
Hmm. I like that you gave some change management insights. I actually just wrapped up a change management class in my MBA program. I think what was interesting about it to me is I still feel like the core thing that's being taught around change management, in my opinion, is a little bit outdated, and you're giving a really good fresh perspective, and I value that. I'm curious because you mentioned your coworker and how you both manage styles. You liked feedback, preliminary research. Because of the size of teams you've met with, one of the things I've experienced are like people with big personalities who really want to win, or maybe they both want something. I'm going to make an assumption and you can push back. Is there a time, assuming there's a time you probably had dealt with two people who had these big personalities and it was hard to navigate that? You don't have to name names. If you had that experience, how does a manager handle that? Because those are really tough situations to handle. And I know there's a ton of frameworks out there like AdCar and other change management things. But I'm curious from your perspective, here are few things you can do if you're in that situation, or if you're going through heavy, intense change management. Ask for feedback, preliminary research, accept people's different styles. And this, is there some more and there to that change management area topic you mentioned?
Don't focus on it because the more you
Hmm.
think like, hey, this person has big style or person has la la,
Right.
then the more that you think how does it work? How do we make sure we are good with each other, etc. I would say don't worry too much about that. Come back and focus on the goals. Hey,
Hmm.
our goal is both getting more customer this month. We want more people to sign up for our service. Right now, our website sucks, so our conversion rate is not there yet. And what? So let's focus on our goals. How do we achieve it? You have your way of doing, my way of doing. But as long as that we divide and conquer and do what you're good at and what I'm good at and achieve the goal, then we are good. Changing other people is really hard, I would say. And then trusting people is really hard. And making people to trust you is very hard. I would say the best way is to change yourself and start trusting people yourself. So there's a joke. It's definitely a joke, but it's worth to think about it. Is that there was a thief. So the thief steal from different house, in one of the house that they didn't lock the door. The thief leave a note and say, hey, thank you for trusting me, so I didn't steal anything. It's like when you go on public speaking, if you smile at people, people smile at you. When you walk on the street, if you smile at people, people smile at you for no reason. And if you get people angry and people angry at you, just no reason. Start by trusting people. And if you feel that you can change yourself, do it. If not, it's okay. That you guys have a common goal. And the things that you guys are different means good thing because we all learn the leadership class. A team without diversity, usually the team sucks. Usually the team is happy, but it sucks.
Yeah.
Usually when you make decisions so easily, like everybody agree, amazing, then it sucks because then you are not thinking like your customer. Your customer is diverse. You have all different kind of customer. If you don't have debate, means you are going to create things that's really bad because then you
Hmm.
have like a happy team, but your customer is not going to be happy. When you have a diverse team, people have different points of view. That's great. When you have debate, that's great because it means people care. If people don't care, then there's one debate. Do whatever you want. I don't care. If you have debate, if you have argue, means people passionate for something, means they care, which is great. So appreciate that because you know that eventually the result will be better. Focus on the goal, less on the person. You guys are on the same boat. And I
I
would
like
say
that.
share it out like elephant in the room. For example, you probably have been going to a meeting when someone disagreed with you but the
Hmm.
person was very polite. They wait for you in the end of a presentation and they say, I disagree. In fact, the
Hmm.
person didn't hear you the entire time. The person was just politely waiting. As soon as Anya finished the talk, I'm going to say no. What you should do is from the get go, Open it up and then speak out the elephant in the room, because otherwise the person will be waiting and not listening. For example, at Taelor, we are AI company while AI pick clothes for people and we ran clothes for people. It's actually amazing lifestyle. If you're now looking at share economy, people get on Uber, people Netflix stuff, people Airbnb. You go to hotel, you actually sleep on the bed that 100 people slept there before. A lot
Yeah.
of stuff are secondhand. You go to restaurants, the spoon and fork actually 100 people added before. It's everywhere. But then we tend
Hmm.
to get people say, "Hey, I have my custom suit. I would never wear someone's secondhand clothes." We tend to have those meetings with potential investor. From the get-go, we know this guy, oh, he has a custom suit. He's going to say that. Instead of waiting in the end, I will open up, say, you're probably curious, why would anyone want to wear secondhand clothes?
Yeah.
But guess what? It's very trendy. Gen Z, young people nowadays, we all love assets versus ownership. People like Uber versus just driving themselves. People like
Yeah.
Netflix versus buying DVD. People don't like to own that much stuff as long as they can use it, because then they don't have to own something, which means they have to do laundry and ironing and folding. That's a lot of work. Means they cannot have different clothes every single day. Means they have used my spaces to decide what to shop for. Guess what? It's actually a trendy lifestyle. By opening that versus waiting in the end, the person will actually listening to you because they feel from the get-go you already heard what they were trying to say.
I love that. One of the things I want to give a call out to, this wasn't in my notes, but one of the things I enjoyed about your website is you actually put out a lot of good information on your blog too about different fashion tips. I think your solution of taking the pain away from deciding what's fashionable in professional settings. But you also have stuff in there I was reading about like what to wear at a comedy show. I was reading that blog. I thought that was very interesting. As somebody who also had to put comedy on hold after doing it for 5 years prior to finishing up this MBA, I was very fascinated. So I want to give a call out to that. I think it's innovative to combine AI with clothing. And I'm not asking you to share your IP. I want to be very transparent in this next question. If somebody's out there and they're like, I really want to incorporate AI more into my workflows, to my management, what were some of those upfront things that people should expect that you experience? That if you could go back and start incorporating AI into their workflow or business, here's what you would have done different, because this is incredibly an innovative thing you've done.
Number one, we all know AI is really good in productivities.
Yeah.
Anything you feel like repetitive, AI probably can do it for you. But it's also very important to figure out what's really value. What's a value that you can bring to your customer? At Taylor, people think we are a clothing company. We are not. We are
Hmm.
actually a company, number one, for fashion brands, we are data company. We help them to get feedback from customer. We help them reduce waste. Today, 30% of clothes go directly from factory to landfill, generating
Hmm.
10% of carbon emissions, 20% of polluting water. We actually is a data company collecting amazing insight back to the fashion brand and retailer and help them to predict what's going to sell. People think we are
Hmm.
clothing company for consumer. We are not. We are actually more like a executive assistant, more like service company powered by AI. People use our service, number one, because they don't want to use their brand. They don't want to think. They don't want to spend that much mind spaces in the fashion space, which they don't care. They want to look good because they want to get a job, get a date, close a deal, not because they want to look good. As long as they can get a girlfriend or boyfriend, they don't care what they wear. As long as they can close $1 million deals, they don't care what they can wear. When our customers come to us and say, hey, I'm going to a conference, give me some conference clothes, we might send them a very interesting print because it's a conversation starter. They go to a conference, you will say, hey, nice shirt, very interesting dolphins there. And they will say, oh, you know what? I use a rental company. I actually rent my clothes. AI actually pick my clothes. Oh, that's so cool. You become a conversation starter. Someone going on the dates, we send them a jacket because it's getting cold and you put a jacket on. The girls shoulder, now you get a second date. It's about how to achieve the goal. We are actually not about a closing company. It's a service company with the true purpose behind looking good to help people. I would say how to use AI. On the one hand, yes, look at your bottleneck. Why you cannot get more customers or get better retention? Where is your bottleneck in the company? On the other hand, look at what's value, what's really value for your company. In our case, it's about providing better service to save my spaces and help them achieve the goal. It's about providing amazing data and high quality data and fast real-time data to help fashion brand to predict what's going to sell. If you look at the value prop, when I was working for Target, when you walk into a Target, you come in thinking you're going to buy one stuff, but then you
Yeah.
actually bought 20 things. After an hour, you're still in the store. You love the inspirations. The value prop is about inspiration. You walk into Walmart, you know that you are not going to buy something more expensive than somewhere else. Amazon, you know it's convenience. There's a customer service there. If there's something wrong, you can complain to a customer service, you can return. Really understand your company's value prop. Focus on value prop using your AI or using your AI to remove your blocker, the bottleneck that you have today, and reduce things that you do again and again.
That's good. That's very impressive and relevant. I was watching your TED Talk, and I would encourage people to go on and watch your TED Talk. And it's titled, and you can go type this in on YouTube, How to Keep Going When You Want to Give Up. As I said earlier, I found it fascinating because I personally am attracted to people who have a lot of humbleness. I still try my best to look good for my wife. I always take her out on a lot of date nights, try to put a coat on her. I've had more than the second date, so I think I'm doing some right. But one of the things I like about her and I like about professionals like yourself is that you're very humble. I think when we peel back the layers, it's really cool to meet someone like you who went through a lot of resistance when I watched that speech. And I guess my question and why I bring that up to you, Anya, is when it comes to the definition of resistance, because that's a word we have to get incredibly comfortable with in pursuing greatness, doing what you've done, innovating AI, making Taylor a successful company. What do professionals need to accept about the definition of resistance and pursuing the business outcomes they're looking for? Just wonder if you could speak to that, please.
The TED Talk I was talking about was actually, I realized it's all about using your strengths. When I was a student, graduate from Northwestern University, it was 2008, right after Lehman Brothers went bankruptcy. There was no job anywhere. Before that, my only job was a reporter back in Taiwan, but I have a master's degree in marketing and I was looking for marketing jobs at that time. And as someone who barely spoke English, it was really hard. So I will wait outside the building from other department because I wasn't even able to get on campus recruiting for even my own department. I wait for a different department outside of my own schools at Northwestern University. And as soon as
Yeah.
the recruiter came out, I gave him my resume. People would say, "You're crazy. That's extremely hard. Ambush a recruiter. That's crazy." But in fact, it wasn't hard for me because my only job before that was a reporter. That was the only thing I know, waiting people outside and giving my cameras or giving my
Yeah.
microphones. When I was using my strengths, I realized I can use it, try again and again. I decided to went on a trip too because someone told me like, "Hey, you know what, the Chicago is really small. Have you heard of New York and LA? They are bigger cities and bigger city has more jobs." So I went on New York and spend time and sleep on different friends' couches for months. And
Mm.
then one day that I really want to go on a conference because people told me that you can meet a lot more people in a conference, which will be a lot more effective. But all conference tickets are very expensive.
Yeah.
I decided to call a magazine company back in Taiwan. I said, "This is amazing conference in New York. Do you want someone to cover the story for free?" They said, "Yes." I
Oh,
called the
wow.
conference. "Hi, I'm a reporter from Taiwan. Give me the press tickets." And I got in and then got a ticket for free.
Oh,
Again,
wow.
people think that's crazy. Who would do that? But again, for someone who was a reporter before, covering a story of a conference is pretty easy for me. I didn't know what else to do, but I know how to use my strengths. And when you use your strengths, you are not afraid. You want to try again and again because you feel like, oh, I can do that. I can do that. And then you continue going instead of giving up. Again, when I was looking for opportunities, I decided I was very interested in media company because again, my only job before was a reporter. I was thinking that I should do marketing for media company, which was a really bad idea. When was the last
Yeah.
time you see ESPN does marketing? They don't need to do marketing. They are media company. But I didn't know. So I will buy all the newspaper from the newsstand and I cold calling each one of the publisher because of all of the
Really?
newspaper, you have in the old time, you will show publisher name so and so. If you want advertising, call Paul and I'll call this number. Again, people think that's crazy. But for someone who was a reporter before, I do know how to call people and ask them for interview. But I got on a lot of information interview and meet with them. Again, looking back, it wasn't because that I was so resilient, was just because I was using my strengths. And I'm sure your strengths is different from mine. You might be really good because you are a people person. You might be really good because you are number persons. Maybe you are amazing because you are just full with curiosity. Maybe you are really great because you came from a company with big company that really well organized has really good SOP. Maybe you came from startup, so you know how to wear multiple hats. Maybe you
Yeah.
came from educations that have a family in the medical space, so you know a lot of people in that space. Whatever your resources is different from other people. There's no good or bad. No matter you're from a really wealthy or small blue collar family, your background is different from other people. People who you know, people who you meet, people who are you're familiar with growing up is different from others. And these are all your resources. I would say
Yeah.
the best way not giving up is use your strengths because you are not feeling that you're out of options. And it's
Yeah.
the idea of trying again and again eventually will get you the end of the tunnel, the light in the tunnel, and you will be very successful.
I love that story. That's really powerful. I was in Toastmasters for 10 years. I was a president. I used to work really hard for people. Sometimes I work with these engineers who couldn't articulate a story like that. And I felt that one of the best advices I ever heard, and I hope people heard it too, is what comes from the heart goes to the heart when it comes to storytelling. So I just found that story absolutely fascinating. You've talked about imposter syndrome, leveraging your strengths, that awesome story of how you did that. Would you say that's probably your advice to maybe some early employees, maybe starting their careers? Hey, even though it's tough now and you're building your strengths, that's okay. Lean into them. Would that be a statement you'd align with, or is there more there?
I actually really like what you just did. Okay, let me repeat what you told me.
Yeah.
This is actually a very, very powerful technique. You probably have experience before. People say like, I don't understand. They don't get me. Or you probably have experience. Your mom keeps telling you the same thing again and again. Clean your bedroom. Clean your bedroom. The reason they keep telling you the same thing is because they are afraid that you are not getting it. Or
Yeah.
they feel like you are not listening to them and they don't like you as a manager. It's a very powerful technique, which is let me repeat what I heard from you and you tell me if I'm right. Because the
Yeah.
moment you do that, they realize, oh, you got it. Or the moment you do that, they realize, oh, they are not clear. That's not what I meant. It's actually
Yeah.
very, very powerful. Many times you thought you already clear, but you are not. So it's actually very, very powerful techniques. I would say as an early manager, it's important that you try to do what your manager is doing. What do you mean? Your job is to replace your manager because this way your manager can be promoted. The reason your
Yeah.
manager cannot be promoted, the reason you are not promoted, because you are not doing his or her job, because his or her is not doing their manager's job. And in
Hmm.
fact, the best solution, the best scenario for everybody is everybody get promoted. But no one is getting promoted if they don't think you are qualified. You got to be doing their job. What does it mean? For example, I have amazing employee come in and say, hey, we are working on pay search. a year ago, my SEO guy who was doing paid search as well as we are a small startup, he was doing both of them. One day he came to me and said, Anya, I really think that our paid search has got to some bottleneck now. I don't
Hmm.
think it's performing last few months. And that's my job and that's my fault. I think it's time for you to fire me as a pay search manager. And I also found a person who is a great contractor freelancer. I think he can
Oh,
bring
wow.
this to the next level. When
Hmm.
you heard someone to tell you that, are you going to fire the person? No, you love the person even more because the person is doing your job. The person is doing my job because he actually think on behalf of me that he has get to where his ceiling is and now need a new person to come in to bring it to the next level. Of course, you are not letting this person go. And then he said, you know what? I realize our website conversion rate isn't very high. And I have some of those growth and product management experience. I think I can use the time they freed up to do the product things to helping improving conversion rate. What do you think? Amazing. Of course, he got
That
a
is
new job
amazing.
of doing
Yeah.
conversions. It's amazing because he was doing my job. Or another example, my team go on a meeting with another team and he or she come back and say, Anya, another teams, I heard that their big boss saying that they want to do a switch of a strategy. So whoever will focus on this new strategy is going to get the budgets from this big central team.
Yeah.
Amazing, right? This
Yeah.
is some information that I should be knowing. And but because a person is because my team is buddy with the other team's buddy, they get this
Yeah.
insight from the other team because maybe my peer who are also manager won't want to share with me because they are afraid of we getting the budgets from them. Again, this person is not being an individual contributor. The person is thinking like me when they are networking with other team. Then that's amazing because the person is doing my job. When you're doing a presentation to your boss, the reader is actually not your boss. He or she do not care at all. Why? Because even if they love the presentation, so what? The presentation's real audience is their manager. Because after they see your presentation, there are two scenarios. Number one is amazing. They go in and turn it to their boss, say, hey, we should do this. You are wrong when you are thinking the presentation audience is your boss. No, it's something that you want to give it to them so that they can give it to their boss. Second scenario is so bad, the person can give you feedback. If after the presentation, the person say, great, and then put it in a drawer, then you are wasting his or her time because
Yeah.
nothing make it better. The company doesn't better. You are not better. He or she is not better. Nobody, even if he or she said this is great, is not helping company's bottom line. But if he or she
Yeah.
take it and then go into his or her boss or going to another department, now this is making impact for the company. You have to
Hmm.
keep in mind that whatever you are preparing is not preparing for your boss. It's preparing for he or she needed as a next step. So thinking on behavior your manager and acting like your manager, then you will be your manager.
I feel like when I talk to you, I should know these things, but it's the refreshing and all that is just very empowering. I have two questions, if you would have your permission to ask them. And
Please
one is
do.
actually impromptu. I'm gonna take your advice because earlier you said it's important to ask for feedback. It's gonna be intimidating for me to ask you this question, Anya, so brace yourself. What do you think of this cowboy hat from a style perspective, since you're the expert? I'm a little nervous to ask this question, but I feel like if I don't take your advice and apply it, what's the point, right?
Looks great. It's really good. Anything that you feel
You're too
confident,
kind.
feel like yourself is something great, you know. Looks great. And the point of looking good is for you to feel like yourself, the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
But if you anyone want the style advice, the simple tip is that look at the mirror before you go out. Believe it or not, most of people don't. Before they go out, they
Hmm.
just rush and go out the door. So if you
Yeah.
look at your mirror, you'll realize you're doing great. And simple tip, the belt color should match your shoes. And then if you look at your entire body, head to toe, no more than 3 different color. If you have dark blue and light blue, that counts as one color. But head to toe, including your backpack and your other stuff like shoes and belts, no more than 3 color. And
Oh, really?
then if you like something trendy, the shorts, like the short pants is actually shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
Skinny jeans are out of style, so people like baggy stuff nowadays. The color of the year is maroon and also light brown, which is cocoa's.
Yeah.
It's mocha color, like cocoa mocha colors
Yeah.
every year. But the most important thing is that you feel like yourself.
Thank you. You're too kind. Now my ego's inflated a little. I got to be humble. All right. So my last question is this. I call it a time traveling question. You can go back 10 years ago. I don't know your age. You look very young to me. I don't know. You can talk to Anya and you can only tell her 3 things. But the catch is you cannot tell your younger self, number one, that it's you. You cannot tell her that. And you can pick any moment in time. What are the 3 things you would tell that Anya to accelerate her career growth even further than you already have?
I think the number one things is really being getting involved with things that you don't think is useful yet. I'm an Asian from Taiwan. In the culture, we tend to educate people of what, not why, not how. It's what. You got to study engineering because it make a lot of money. You got to be accountant because it make a lot of money. You got to learn about AI because it's the future. We like things that's practical, useful, and have immediate results. Throughout
Mm,
my career, I realized life is never as what you expected. So learning things that's not useful is actually very useful. I teach at
mm,
Northwestern University. I teach product management and marketing. My best students are people who are full with curiosities. Because
mm.
the moment that you realize it's useful, it's too late. I got to be a data scientist. Everyone is already data scientist. Oh, I got to invest in AI company. Everyone already invests in data AI companies. So the moment
Yeah.
that you realize it's useful, the moment you are not expert yet, then you spend another 5 years to be expert in that, and you are already too late. And AI already
Mm,
doing your job, and you no longer have their job. If you are just chasing trend, you'll never be really successful because you are just too late. Now I'm a startup founder, and one thing I regret is that when I was working for a big company, I should get more involved with startup. I should be an investors, angel investors. Most investment can start with like $10,000. It's not that much, $25,000. Most of
yeah.
startup actually takes small checks. Being an
Mhm.
investor, I can actually see plenty of a startup. I know how startup works, but I never did because I thought that's not useful. I work for Meta and eBay and Target. Why do I care about startups? But now, who knows? I became a startup founder. I wish I knew a lot more people in the space before, but I didn't because I didn't think it was useful. Or, for example, when I was a marketer in my early of my career as a data scientist, I never thought I would be on the engineering side of house. I thought that's for people who have engineering background. But then I became a product manager. I started leading, become a head of product. I started leading engineering and technology teams. And I realized actually curious about how my team doing their work, and I started attending coding classes, and I which I actually learned a lot more early on. I would say
Yeah.
just you can never predict what's next, so just full with your curiosity, go with your heart to learn something useful and make a lot of new friends, and break your comfort zone. Get out to meet with people who are not your current friends. Learn something different. Eventually, all of those things will be resources for future of your life.
I love that. Well, I will say, I feel that I've personally grown from our conversation, Anya. It's been very empowering. I'm really looking forward to working on this episode, getting it published, and I'm gonna do my best to make it as attractive and fashionable as I can. I'm not gonna meet your standards, but I'm gonna give it my all, if that's fair.
Thank you so much. For anyone who want to keep in touch, reach out to us. I'm Anya, which is Anya at Taelor.ai. That's Taelor.ai. If you are investor, supplier, fashion brands, or if you want to partner with us as a marketing partner, we partner with executive coaching company, dating site, fitness centers. And also if you are just curious and want to look great and be a great manager, feel confident every day, and feel free to sign up. Go on Taelor.style. That's Taelor.style, Taelor.style. Use the code podcast25, podcast25 to get 25% off first month. Looking good, dress up, and never need to do shopping or laundry again.